Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to focus on the warrior group, or the Virabhadra group, which is all poses in this frontal plane where the hips are squared, hips are facing forward, chest is facing forward. So like I mentioned yesterday, if you want to look at yesterday's video, which is in that sagittal plane, those side bending poses where the hips are open, it can be really beneficial to the body to take it one pose at a time and stick with keeping the poses that are in these groups together, rather than kind of taking a pose from this group and a pose from this group and a pose from this group and linking them together. That can create that instability in the SI joints. So trying to stick in the group and even stick with just one pose at a time. Make sure you're not creating instability, unbalance in the hips and the SI joints. So we're going to start. Yesterday I had all the poses coming from like this straddle stance. And that's fine, you can do that as well in this group, but today I'm going to show it as more of a vinyasa practice. So yesterday's was more of a hatha, more of just shifting from one side to the other. Today will be more vinyasa, where you do that lowering down the cobra or upward facing dog and downward facing dog between every pose. So this will start from downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So as you're coming into the first level, again, there's those three levels, the mild, medium, and more intense pose. This first level of pose is where the weight stays right on top of the hips, upper body stays right on top of the hips. So coming into Virabhadra 1, Warrior 1 first. It can be nice if you're able to plant that back foot first. I bring my back heel down first with those toes just slightly turned out, and then step the right foot forward. So you have the foundation in the back foot first, and then you come up from there. So you're trying to keep the hips squared. I'll show you from this angle so you can see the back foot a little bit better. If this back foot is too turned out, your hips are never going to square. Right? That back foot dictates what that back hip is able to do. So here, whereas in those open hip poses, you're more on this tightrope, right? Hips are open and hips are facing forward. Now, as the hips try to be squared, feet are more hips distance apart, and that back foot, those back toes are more spun forward. So, as you're in this Warrior 1, and once you have that foundation, feet hips distance apart, those back toes are spinning about 45 degrees forward, maybe slightly more, and then you'll come up. So this is that mild group, hips under shoulders, shoulders over hips. And then you have some arm options. Maybe you reach the arms up. And you'll spend a few breaths there. And then, because this is vinyasa that I'm showing you, you lower down. Inhale for cobra or upward dog. And exhale back, downward dog, Adho Mukha. And coming into the second side, that right heel will drop down. Try to keep that foot planted as you step the left foot forward. Right now your foundation is set before you come up. Draw the lower abdomen in and up. And you can feel a little bit of compression happening through the right side of the lower abdomen and expansion through the left side. So you're trying to draw right hip forward, left hip back. But again, it starts from the back foot, right? His back toes are open, and I try to pull this hip forward, the knee's gonna get twisted and injured. So you wanna make sure those toes initiate the squaring of the hips. Again, a few breaths here. And then you'd step back, Kumbhakasana, lower down. Inhale, Bhujangasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then moving into that second medium level is where the weight is either shifting forward or shifting back like a back bend. Today I'll show a shifting forward pose. It's here in Gustasana, sometimes called humble warrior. So the feet are the same. Left heel in, right foot forward, and you can rise up. Interlace the hands behind the back. Inhale, lift your chest. Then exhale. As you fold, you're trying to keep both sides of the body equally long. And then it's Sthira Gustasana, that Shirsha is the crown of your head. So the crown of your head is starting to move towards the space to the inside of your right foot. Make sure that power stays in the back foot. And make sure you can breathe. And after 5 breaths there, you step back, plank, exhale, lower. Inhale, open the sternum. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And switching sides, the right heel comes down, left foot steps forward. And then starting in Virabhadra 1 to set up Sthira Gustasana. And opposite interlace of the fingers, inhale, lift your sternum. And then exhale, you start to fold to the inside of that front leg. Okay, notice if that left hip is popping out, you're gonna pull left outer hip back. So again, that squaring of the hips, left outer hip back, left inner knee forward, right outer heel down. After 5 breaths, plant your hands, step back, lower down. Inhale, cobra. Then exhale, Adho Mukha, downward dog. And that last level is where you're taking it onto one foot, like Virabhadra 3, warrior 3. So you can also start this pose from warrior 1, left heel down, right foot forward. And if warrior 3, balancing on one leg isn't for you, you can stay on that medium level, just shifting over the front leg, maybe hands on hips, hands at heart center, hands reaching forward. Okay. And then if you're able to bring that weight into the front foot, lift the back heel, maybe you start to shift that weight into the front leg, right? Any arm variation. One side's always easier or harder than the other. I know this is my challenging side. So find that place where you're stable, right? For me today, it might be with that back heel staying down, somewhere in the middle. And after 5 breaths, you come into the second side. Moving through that vinyasa. Right heel down, left foot forward, coming up. And then you set it up the same way. Decide if you stay here, hands to heart center, hands reaching forward, and then shift to the front leg, and feel this inner right thigh draw up as the sternum draws forward. Trying to square the hips, compress the right side, expand the left side. And after 5 breaths, bring the right heel down, and you'd step back, vinyasa. So again, that is that frontal plane, those squared hips, the Virabhadra group. So feel free to reach out with any questions. Check out yesterday's video on the side bending group with open hips. And tomorrow I'm going to do a video on that transverse plane, those twisting poses. Have a great day. Be well.